So in customer success, we're in this kind of strange moment where there's an industry standard practice, right? So whenever you go into customer success, you follow a specific blueprint that says which software to use, what size of team to use, how to tier your customers. And I'm going to be talking about that a lot in more detail soon. But where I really wanted to focus, and the big theme of all of the conversations I'm going to have, is that customer success is a purpose driven team. The whole thing is about supporting your customers and supporting your product in a way that is really, really effective. You get customer feedback, you get active development on your product. You take some of the heat off sales and support by bringing in more organic referrals, higher sentiment, addressing questions at a higher level. It's all about building that really strong relationship between product, company, and customer that is really the best way to run the business for everyone. So it's your purpose, not process. And one of the reasons that I'm bringing this up is because right now, the common practice is to start with the most expensive tech stack and then to start with a full size customer success team before you even fully understand your customer base. The first and most important thing is communication. Any business, any company, if you want to engage your customer base, you want to understand who they are, what your product is, how the two are interacting, and how your customers even want to be reached out to. But as I've been engaging with the Reddit community as well in that customer success subreddit, you see a ton of questions from small operators who are looking at the standard practice and thinking, hey, I can't afford this tech stack. Or there's a team of 4 people and we have thousands of customers. We can't do any of this standard practice. We can't do the playbooks. We can't do the QBRs. There's just too much. And if you're looking at this company, this is a successful company that's doing fairly well, I assume. And this is a great kind of showcase of why the standard practice doesn't really make sense because this isn't something you can always standardize. And so I put together this post, just put it on LinkedIn, a little bit of self promotion there, just to kind of talk through the absolute rock bottom, what you need for customer success. And I'll link to this in the description if you prefer to read it too. But to go ahead and talk through it, the number one absolute thing that you need to do customer success well or correctly is a feedback source. You need a place where your customers, number one, know about. Number two, is easy to get to with no barriers. And three, where they can leave free form open feedback where they say, hey, this feature's broken. That's one thing. They say, hey, I'd really love to see this. Or they want to tell you an actual story about their use case, what's really good about the product, what they'd like to see from it. This feedback could range anywhere, it could be anything. And I can see immediately you may have some stress if you're a small operator, small team thinking about a large customer base. The thing is to just get all of the feedback you can. Make sure that there is a space for customers to reach out. And the end note here, the big thing I want to make sure to highlight is that you don't have to reach out to everyone. You have to do your best. But the key thing is that there is a space where customers are able to reach out. They know about it, they can find it, and they feel like they can actually put a free form response in there to highlight their actual needs, not an NPS score, not some sort of number, not kind of cookie cutter where they have to choose between specific options, just a box where they can put whatever they want to, whatever feedback they want to. And then you have to make a show of listening to that. And make a show is the wrong way to say that. What I mean is you have to demonstrate that you are taking that to heart, that you are reading it, that you're looking at it. And if you're a small team, you want whoever can to look at this. If you're a bigger team, you want to make sure that your marketing, sales, and product all see this stuff. And this is actually a really good use case for AI because if you're getting tons and tons of pieces of feedback, AI can help kind of filter through that. It can prioritize the things that are being mentioned the most. So you know kind of the spotlight pain points for your company for your customers, and you know exactly where to focus your development efforts, your bug fixing efforts, or your customer outreach. You know when things are big, and then you can look through kind of the smaller pieces to know what's small. Ideally, you're able to go through every single piece of feedback and follow up with everyone. Obviously, that's not going to be feasible for every team, but that should be the goal. Your overarching goal, not to beat yourself up if you can't do it, but to say, like, how can I make this happen? And then you want to demonstrate that you're listening. So as you're going through this feedback, you can reach out to individual customers by name or to the company itself. You can reference the feedback that they actually gave and say, hey, we saw this feedback. We wanted to respond to this. Or we'd love to hear more about this. Anything to highlight that this was heard, that that voice was heard and seen, and make sure that these touch points are a priority because they're a really good way to turn customers into advocates, advocates into a this is where it becomes good business because if people are really happy, if they feel heard, they will tell their friends about it. They'll talk about the experience, they'll talk up the product, and they're more likely to engage with you personally, more likely to stay on the product, and then also more likely to spread the word in a way that you otherwise won't get. Then you can also reach out to your kind of biggest negative people and make sure that you can help them. Engage in those tough conversations. Make sure that you're talking to these folks as best you can. Say, hey, I'm sorry this was an issue. I understand where you're coming from. Here's how we address that. Here's how we plan to address that. Here's what we're doing to kind of adjust for this. And you're not going to win every one of these, but these are the cases where you can save customers. And this is one of the best ways to turn detractors into advocates, actively engaging with them, showing them that you are hearing and understanding what they've said and engaging with that. And then as you're doing all of this, find your preferred social media platform of choice or wherever you want to put this information out there and share it publicly. Say, this is one key piece of feedback we had. This is how we responded. This is what we're doing. Keep doing that as a regular piece of your day to day. And that is how you make a bare bones, rock bottom, super basic, customer centric organization. And you will see an immediate and dramatic benefit to approaching it this way. You don't need a tech stack. You don't need a huge team. You don't need a fully fleshed out customer success team if your company can't support that. And this exact same approach, this purpose over process, is the exact sort of backbone that you should have when you're building out your customer success approach within your specific company. You want that feedback. You want to make sure it's heard and you want to make sure it's responded to. There's that feedback loop where customers have a space where they can express concerns. You can see it and then you can act on it in whatever capacity you're able to. That is the core principle, like the absolute bare bones minimum, the most important focus of customer success. And it was a really good conversation I had in some of the mentoring and Q&A sessions I did through Reddit, and I wanted to make sure to share that. So this is that. Hopefully this is helpful, and I would love to hear your feedback. And of course, again, I will have the cute hippo photo and the post linked in the description if you want to follow that as well. Cheers.